on, guys? Good morning and welcome back. This is Everyday Struggle. Of course, I'm Nadeska here with Wayno and DJ Akademiks. Good morning, guys.
Yeah, double pounds. You know what I mean?
What's going
really
on,
rocking pounds and all
Man, my hand a little ashy. That's what
You always
You're
ashy,
always,
dog.
yeah, sorry, yo. I keep
Ashy
forgetting
Aki.
to bring my lotion for you.
That's your new name, Ashy Aki.
Y'all get ashy in the morning?
Yeah,
I'm
and
black.
you moisturize.
Yeah, but we moisturize, Ak.
I got all the time for that, man.
got
Hop
no
out the
time
shower,
for that.
get straight. I get dressed in like 3 seconds, man.
He doesn't care about his presentation, y'all.
He's busy being the media
If y'all
king.
can see, well, I know this is like 4K, right? If they could see the ash on my hands, man, Complex done stepped it up, bro. Okay?
wish
If they
you could
could
zoom in
see
that
the ash on my hands, y'all let me know in the comment section.
All right, so today we're starting with an exclusive from the media king himself, Akademiks, a.k.a. Little AK. All right, so you guys know that Lil Pump was trolling J. Cole for a while. It seems like Cole addressed him on 1985, and then they had that little run-in at Rolling Loud Miami. And now, Ak, I'm going to let you break your own news. Go for it.
Well, pretty much they met up. By the way, they spoke afterwards. And from what I was told, Cole told Pump, listen, I know a lot of people are saying the song is just for you. It's not really just a song at you, and it's not a diss. Got no issues with you like that. However, the conversation escalated to them meeting a Rolling Loud, and then this popped up where they kind of interviewed each other. Now I don't know how it's gonna be used in what capacity, but I'm gonna know my sources gave this audio to me. I gave it to the world. So pretty much, it's Lil Pump and J. Cole talking very candidly about everything.
Yeah, so Cole ain't want no smoke.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Let's play the clip, and we'll talk about it.
That led to the weed shit. Smelling like weed in the house. He just got tired of that shit. He like, man, you always doing that shit. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. And then, you know, he started arguing. And then I told him the same shit. I'm like, bro, you're a fucking bum. And then he got mad. And he was trying to fight me and shit. And then that's when I put strap on him.
Is this something you is that something you planned like earlier? Like,
All right, Ak, you got to give us some context here.
Yeah, what's going on?
honestly, I don't have context.
Your sources didn't give you context?
Yeah, no, this is a piece of an interview, right? But just to hear the subject matter they're discussing, clearly they're talking about some stuff that Lil Pump has been through, even though he's 17.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know this about Lil Pump. So clearly, Cole is probably trying to get a better understanding of him. Why are you rapping about certain things like that? What's your family life like, right? What have you been through? So I just like the open conversation between generations, right? Cole, obviously, he sees things differently. And I mean, this is one of the reasons this show exists, right? To open those conversations that people on whatever side of the aisle could look at it and be like, yo, you know, I agree, or I disagree here, but I could hear the other side. I think a lot of times on Twitter, it's like, fuck all them new rappers.
Yeah, that's all we see on social, right? Sort of like younger and older rappers attacking each other. It's kind of amazing how this progressed from Pump trolling Cole to them sitting down to talk to each other.
And on either side, I know a lot of Cole fans, they wanted Cole to just like, all right, let's get these niggas out of here. They don't even want to see this. They don't want to see that conversation. And even on Pump's side, they're like, man, fuck all them local rappers. Like, get them out of here.
Yeah, nobody's gonna hurt each other. Like nobody's gonna do anything to each other. I didn't think like that's why I was joking saying like, you know, Cole ain't want no smoke, cause I didn't think Cole was gonna say, yo, what's good, B? Like you was talking all this fuck J. Cole shit, what's poppin'? Like what was they talking about?
Not about that life?
Huh?
You think them Fayetteville niggas not about that life?
No, they definitely are.
J. Cole's never had that energy.
What up,
That's
bro?
never been him.
What up, Pete? But what was he saying? He said I pulled the strap on somebody or some shit?
Yeah, it looked like he was talking about, I don't know if it was related to like his family or whatever.
Yeah.
But he said, got in an argument, he pulled a strap out. I'm wondering at what point in Lil Pump's life, he was
Before or
literally
after
touring
Harvard?
at 15. At what point did he start toting a strap?
And you see the picture of him like prior to the dreads and all of that with the little funny fro and all of that, like what's going on?
And of course, like in the early parts of his career, he's one of them rappers who used to take pictures with like a gun in his mouth.
Yeah, I seen. Yeah, he used to do a lot.
But I used to just think that was for shock value. I'm like, Lil Pump never had a gun for no reason. I could imagine Lil Pump. I don't know his full upbringing, but I'm thinking he probably grew up in the suburbs. Went to a high school where it's, you go through high school shit, but you definitely don't need to grip up to go to school. You know what I mean?
I don't see Lil
But
Pump
who knows?
gripping up, but we've seen crazier things happen.
We have. I just wonder how much advice Cole gives him, like from his own experiences, right? Because we hear that on the album, so I wonder how much of the conversation is him being like, look, I understand where you're coming from, but let me tell you what I've been through, and why I hope you don't make mistakes I made.
I think he's just educating them on the business overall, because it's like he did that with Cardi. Just saying, don't let everybody rush you. Take your time to put your album out, because remember at one point in time, people were putting pressure on Cole to drop his album. He dropped Who That. Remember that didn't pick up the way it did, and then I can't remember the name of the song with Trey Songz, but that was the one that got him going. But he didn't. After that, we didn't see any more records like that. So maybe he's just telling them to follow their own path, do what they're doing. I don't see him not guiding them. Like, he's kind of elder statesman in the shit now.
I'm excited to see this.
Hey, I definitely got to salute to Cole though and his approach to a lot of new rappers, even when they approach him with disrespect.
Yeah.
Being someone, again, you know what I mean? People have egos. You get me? If somebody says "fuck you," you might be like, "Man, you're old enough to know."
When I see you.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. And when Exit came at him in a XXL freestyle, where he said that, "Yo, Cole, whatever, Illuminati and government, like you're pushing some of the wrong things," he had an opportunity to throw Exit on the bus for some of the stuff he's accused with and some other stuff that he said.
Yeah.
But he didn't. He said, "You know, I like this kid's music. We might disagree on a couple things, but he kept it positive and he's still uplifted." It's clear to me that J. Cole, even though he will give advice, he kind of gets the younger rappers, right? He understands what they're doing, right? Now, he does want to guide them. On the flip side, this conversation, does Lil Pump leave that conversation saying, "Yo, I kind of get Cole. Like, I get why he says certain things, and maybe that's gonna influence how I move."
Yeah, well,
I think that's the question for me.
Another thing too is that I think like J. Cole, for the type of artist he was, it wasn't always cool to be who he is. You know, rap was dominated on some street shit for a long time. So maybe he understands people saying, nah, that's not gonna work, because people did it with him. It's just in a different generation, you know?
Man, all I'm gonna say, man, Nadeska, if you don't pull up on Cole for the fade, you got my man Adam 22 and Lil Pump getting interviews before you, yo.
Yo, true story. Ak was definitely clowning me in the group last night. He's like, "You're a Cole fan, it doesn't mean shit. All the trolls get interviews before you." That's facts.
Exactly. This is literally being rewarded for bad behavior.
It's cool. That's what it is.
Starting out, his career started out saying fuck J. Cole. Now he's interviewing J. Cole.
You gotta interview Bad Baby to get even.
Yeah.
My career is about to take a sharp left turn. We're gonna see where this shit goes. All right, next up we got OG Maco accusing quality control of derailing his career. So if you guys remember, he had his big hit, You Guessed It, out in 2014. Not too much music out recently. So he said in a tweet, "I'm with a label that has sabotaged multiple careers that I'm still signed to, and y'all dumbasses trying to figure out why I won't drop again." Goes on to add that if someone tries to tell you the truth, you shun them, and then you complain that you're broke with a platinum record. Look, QC is on a pretty good run right now, especially with Migos and Yachty. They have great momentum. Are you buying into this? Do you think this is QC's fault, or is this on him?
Stop bitching. Like, first and foremost, stop bitching, OG Maco. Like, I don't think he ever really fit into the mold of what QC was trying to go as far as their direction. What I'm noticing about QC is that they got a really nice formula. They start investing time in the young dudes that they even know from the street or they see in Atlanta that's getting hot. And this is just me speaking from the outside looking in. It looks like they're nurturing that and building it into something. Me personally, I never really got into OG Maco's music. I didn't really get it, all the loud yelling shit. You know what I mean? It just doesn't fit. And especially when you're on a label, you got to get yourself hot. It's not their job to get you hot.
OG Maco, I believe his biggest problem is that his hit single, which is your presentation to the world, isn't what his natural sound is. So when you hear, "Bitch, you guessed it," it's like, okay, so that's you. And if you hear the rest of his music, is much more diverse.
Right.
That's number one. Number two is that I think people look at QC. Oh, this thing is in my ear. People look at QC, and they think of it sometimes too much as a family, more than just really a label.
Yeah.
Right? Like, yeah. They're gonna move with the trends. They're gonna be behind the artist that has the wave. The Migos went through a down period, a very long down period after Versace. They were very disgruntled, but what they kept doing is coming with records.
Like he working.
They never looked at, and actually the only thing they said was when they were with 300 through QC, they said, 300 is preventing us from putting out records, so we're gonna get a situation that we could put out records.
Right.
We gonna keep coming with it until the people wanna rock with us.
Right.
And shit came back around.
Yep.
OG Maco, and by the way, he's not the only person on the label. OG Maco and Skipper the Flipper, they have both complained that they can't get out their contracts. They're unhappy. And what I'm gonna say to them is that that's just how the music business is. Unfortunately, they're old news.
Yeah.
And I don't think QC's thinking, yo, let's get these guys hot again. They're moving forward with the newer rappers. So it's Lil Baby, who's the next one. Yo, they're also a management company now.
Right.
Solid Foundation, right? They got Trippie Redd. They got a bunch of new.
You got Cardi.
Yeah, yeah, Cardi, yeah.
Right? Honestly, OG Maco and even Skipper the Flipper, they should have looked at how Richard Kidd moved. Richard Kidd saw that, hey, listen, I might be on the back burner over here. Right? Because Skipper the Flipper was right there with Richard Kidd.
Skipper the Flipper, I like Skipper the Flipper. I like to credit him for a lot of the flows that comes out of QC because I listened to, what was it? I think No Label 2 and some of the Migos' previous mixtapes. A lot of the flows that they had was similar to Skipper's, and that's around the time, the flows that they use now. Not saying that they stole it or anything, but if I hang with you and we hang together, I might start using some of the slang that you use from time to time. Right. Skipper, I think he has a shot, only because he's respected, you know what I mean, in Atlanta. He can actually make some good songs. OG Maco, I don't get it. I don't think he should have been there to begin with. I think QC might have jumped out the window and grabbed him, not knowing what it fully was. And like you said about the whole music, this shit is not music family. It's not music friends. It's music business. Now, we can be friends if we both fulfilling our obligations, but if you're not living up to what I think you're going to live up to, it's quiet for you. That's just how it goes in any type of business. If you work at Target and your ass ain't performing good enough, your hours getting cut and you getting sent home. And the person that's next to the line, they going to flourish.
And also to add to OG Maco's frustration, right? I kind of understand it, but I always look at him jumping out at certain moments, and I'm like, don't rush yourself, okay? Because the thing with him is that he claims and if you follow the series of tweets, like following even what he said there that we read, he basically said that, listen, back then I was like so futuristic with it. I was ahead of all these niggas and all that, right? And in a sense, he might be right, but like niggas don't want to hear you constantly brag about how good you are, right? If people
cool,
aren't
man.
feeling it, and he's made mention that he's inspired a lot of people, right? Yeah, people don't care. Like, yeah, we like Uzi. We don't care if you were one of the reasons Uzi is Uzi. You know what I mean?
I don't see that at all. Did he say something like that?
Well, him and Reese LaFleur, right?
Reese LaFleur, I ain't gonna lie, he did give a lot of his shit off. You know what I mean? Reese for sure, but OG Maco, nah. Like I don't see that at all. Maybe I only know, but you guessed it. Maybe that's why, but
yeah, no.
I don't see that shit at all. Like,
no, I can understand why he says that. It's just that people don't care, man. People don't care.
It don't matter.
And the worst thing these days is to see a disgruntled artist on Twitter. Because you could tell they're in a bad space. I won't even say financially, but just mentally.
Yeah.
Like, that's going to really affect your music. Like, you complaining about, y'all, my label. That's why I brought up Richard Kidd. If you feel like QC ain't doing it, you got to branch out, and even if you can't get out of contract, you got to just work. You got to be your own label. You're a little baby. Shout out label, that's me.
So is that your only option, Wayno? If you're in that situation, you're an artist, you're signed, you're shelved. It happens to a lot of people. What's your move? Just trying to put out your own music until you can get a project? Or?
My move would be, if I was an artist, my move would be to create a plan. A lot of artists come into this game with the whole mentality of, I just want to drop music. I just want to drop music. This shit is business. With business, you have to have a plan. So what I would do is go to them with something structured. Okay, maybe I'm dropping, maybe a full-length project is not going to work for me. Maybe I need to drop like 2 songs a month and see how them shits go, start fishing, and kind of reinvent it. So I've never seen anything new from him other than what he presented to us.
I think people look at, or I think he may be looking at QC like how TD is, right? Be like, hey, I'm signed here.
Yeah.
Which means eventually my turn should come around,
And
right? Because that's what happened with TD. Like, yo, listen, we know we only sign the talent we really believe in, but most record labels really work off, we go on who has the wave.
Right.
And the Migos has the wave, Lil Baby got the wave, and Yachty got the wave, and they're the wave.
And you got
if
them
you don't
homies.
got the wave, your time never comes up.
Right.
We're not getting you hot. Like, the hell?
And he probably got his homies in his ear like, man, you better than Quavo. Like, Listen, everybody, like, you know what I mean? He probably has people in his ear like, yo, you on here, you should be doing this. You know, I don't know exactly what his gripes is, but from judging by what I see, you got to work. No matter what, like, no matter what you're going through, you just got to work through it. Everybody has ups and downs. No matter how good shit is going, you know some bullshit is coming.
Word.
It's just about how you handle it. For real.
Hey, well, I can understand if I'm on a label and I see Migos on SNL and all type of shit, these dudes doing children's story books.
They got personality though.
Right.
Like
Migos? They
got
just got some.
I'm talking about as far as their style, like they're like characters. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
No.
I think through social media and like this meme culture, like they've gotten personality because like they fit into almost every good joke or whatever.
Right.
But like OG Maco and I'm gonna just focus on him rather than just like lumping, skipping, and flipping with him. OG Maco, like after his song, just kind of fizzled out.
Yeah, he did the freshman cover, and then I didn't really hear anything after that. He did get into a bad accident or something at one point in time.
Man, they had all type of bad stuff. I wouldn't even mention some of the stuff they had.
No, but I mean, like, maybe that might have affected him too, because it was something that he was saying that he lost his eye, he lost vision in his eye.
Okay.
It's something from a car accident, I believe. But that might have taken him back as well. Right. Like, in music, we got to remember, like, these people aren't superheroes. They're going through real life, regular shit.
You're humans, and human shit happens.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Sometimes. But you made the good point. Like, so when Migos did the Complex cover story, again, they talked about the hard time they had on 300 and how that could have derailed them. So it's just on him to make a move.
Make
right?
a record, yo.
Yeah.
Make some record.
Yeah, man, I could imagine Coach KMP when they see these tweets, man, they just like put that nigga on mute.
Right? Not even on
You're not getting
mute.
dropped. You're not getting
people on
nothing.
IG
Like,
now,
yo,
too.
you promised
You
us
can?
3 to.
That's what I mean. Yeah, you can mute people on IG.
Yeah, be like, yeah, you promised
lit.
us 3 to 5 albums. You gave us like 1 or 2. We're not putting no more money into your stuff. You're exhausted already. You're not hot.
Baby on fire.
Yeah, you better go. You better find some way, be a janitor, get in a little baby session, and get like a leftover chorus and get hot again. Sorry.
All right, so we're expecting a ton of new albums in June, but the avalanche actually starts this week. So we're gonna get a new album from Pusha T and one from A$AP Rocky. So Ye first announced the Pusha album on Twitter, and his manager Steven Victor confirmed to DJ Booth that it will drop this Friday. Plus, Rocky teased his project called Testing on Instagram. This is his first since 2015. Are you guys looking forward to these, and what are you expecting? You guys know I've been waiting for the Pusha album, so
Yeah.
it's about time.
Well, my quick thoughts are that, number one, with A$AP Rocky's project, I know he's been mentioned a lot, but it still feels like a surprise project to me. Like, I don't feel like, at least me personally, I don't feel like it feels like album time.
Right.
You get me? So it's kind of like, oh, snap, it's coming, but as a consumer, I don't know if, like, I felt like I was receiving the amount of material that made me feel like, oh, album's coming. With Pusha, if I'm really listening to Kanye West, which I don't know if we want to listen to Kanye West, if it's really seven tracks,
Yeezys
man,
again today.
I'm moving, man. I'm gonna wear the same sneaker for like 3 days, man. Relax, bro. Hey, could you stop pointing this out? I'm gonna come on socks, man. I'm gonna come on socks, nigga. Anyway, but if I'm listening to Kanye's like only 7 tracks, I'm wondering how do you pick 7 tracks? And I can imagine they recorded maybe 100, right? Those 7 tracks got to be so fire, and that's like an EP, man. Like I don't know if you can even tell a whole story with 7 tracks, but I'm excited to hear it.
Does Pusha have to? Pusha doesn't have to tell a story at this point in his career. We know what we want from Pusha. We want to hear him rap about coke. Like let's just keep it 100. We want to hear him rap about
He
coke.
moved back in '86. We want that.
We want to hear that. He doesn't have to tell that much of a story. And I think albums versus EPs is all relative to what you call it and how you present it. My question is like with Rocky shit, is the rollout dead? Because it's like, I'm just saying the music generally, like, is the rollout dead? Because before we used to see a rollout, we used to get a video or 2, couple interviews, and then we know the album's coming. I mean, with Pusha, we found out from Kanye that his shit is coming, right? With Rocky, it's just like, okay, I'm dropping the album,
There was like a song, right? There was a song out, but for the last project, he definitely had videos. I don't know if they're coming as soon as the album comes, but.
All right, let me compare to Nicki, right? Like, Nicki threw out a couple of songs. Like, you saw the attempted rollout, right?
The SNL performance.
Some of her
the build-up.
rollout was her being quiet.
No.
Like, seriously.
No, but she threw out the first records. Remember with the whole thing with even her dissing Remy?
But that was last year, though.
Yeah, no, but that was, to me, I'm looking at that as an attempted
As a
rollout.
rollout for
that, for the album because there was an expensive ass video shot. Like you don't just shoot that when it's not an album cycle.
Right.
And the label saw this didn't pick up. Okay, fall back. We need a new strategy because we can't afford to flop. We can't afford to not present our best foot forward. Then now we're seeing Nicki, she went quiet and now she's coming back again. So I looked at Rocky and he threw out like 2 songs and all the songs that got thrown out, I was like, these kind of feel like leftovers. They don't feel like single. They feel like leftovers. And to see that he's just dropping an album now makes me think of someone who's really in their camp and really close to them, Playboi Carti. So to answer your question, is a rollout dead? I don't know, it might be. Like I'm a little bit confused because I don't know when it's album time. The way how Carti put his stuff out, I was like, this.
We was waiting for that shit though. Like
we were waiting, but like we usually reserve surprise albums for people with that cachet.
Yeah.
If you a Kanye, you a Jay, you a Beyonce, you a even a Drake, or shit even Wayne, good. But when you a Cardi, even though we're waiting for it, you need to let everybody know. But
not
it
really.
worked.
No, you don't.
It
No,
worked.
she didn't. She didn't need to let nobody know.
No. I'm not talking about Cardi B. Like Playboi Carti.
Playboi Carti.
Playboi
Oh,
yeah.
Cause
But like he just dropped an album and it did well. It did well. He didn't have a single before, and of course, some people are gravitating to like certain songs now. So I'm looking at A$AP Rocky, and by the way, A$AP Rocky and Playboi Carti, they're in like the same camp. It's like
he signed to him.
exactly. So I'm looking at that and I'm like, maybe they're taking the same approach. Maybe it works out, or maybe it backfires. I don't know the strategy with this because it feels like there's none.
But with Rocky, he has like the people that want the shit that they want from him. Me personally, I'm more excited for Pusha shit. I mean, I'm more excited for Pusha shit. But Rocky, he has like the people that want to hear that fly, elegance rap. I said before, like, that's the shit he does. He does fashion rap. You know what I mean?
Facts,
Like,
but elegance is hilarious.
right. But with Rocky, I don't know if it's gonna do good or bad. I know the last thing I heard from him was the song he did with Block J.
Yeah.
I wasn't too crazy about that. I felt like people were just doing songs with Block J because he has his song. You know, it's not like, and there's no diss to him, but I don't see anything with Block J that's making people just run out to go work with him. It's like, we never seen Rocky jump into somebody else's momentum, essentially, right? He's always worked at his own time. I think he just takes too much fucking time off to drop his solo shit because he knows that people want shit from him all the time, but he takes so much time off, and it's like, you can't really compare the last one because you can't even remember it. It's like 3 years. Music is changing every day. Like 3 years is a long time for him not to drop some shit.
Well, I mean, I think this is when artists rely on the movement they've built, right? So for all the fans who are committed to the A$AP Mob movement, you know what I mean? Rocky's coming. I'm going to see how they really react to it because like sometimes when you like something but you're not like a heavy like core supporter, you might have a different take than someone who is, right? Like for example, when Cole drops a project, a heavy J. Cole fan is going to look at it differently than maybe just a casual fan. And I don't know, I'm looking to see how they receive this new Rocky project because the last couple songs he put out, I felt they were...
Shit ain't hitting the wall. I mean, it ain't sticking.
It was kind of lukewarm.
Well, myself, I got to hear some of Pusha shit, you know what I mean? And
how's that?
Sounded fire.
Yeah.
Fire. He got this
you gotta
record
get
called,
fire.
If you know, you know. He got a record called If You Know, You Know. That's insane.
Yeah.
I mean, so, yeah, I'm happy with Pusha shit dropping Friday. I mean, I'm not as
You hear the whole
excited.
thing?
I ain't hear the whole thing.
Okay.
But I heard a few drinks.
I'm wondering, like, is like some of the songs like elongated, where it's like multiple? Because I don't know, 7 songs just seem short, man. You know, I complain about too much songs.
But seven excellent songs, though, I take that over.
And I might go
25 mediocre
put
songs.
something in the microwave and miss the whole album.
No,
You get
but
me?
honestly, look, even with the 7 song shit right now, you gotta meet me somewhere because we complaining about shit being too long or is it too short. I think 7 songs is enough to get your point across in an era where people just forget the thing you did an hour ago. 7 songs is enough to where if people receive it well, they're gonna run that 7 songs back. Now if you
songs, Wayno.
7, yeah, what's the problem?
Yo, I thought like even Cardi, like, and I'm talking about Cardi B. Cardi B's album was a little short, and that was like 13. My sweet spot's around like 15. Not that it needs to be 15, but
how many of the 15
7?
songs on average do you like? That's the question.
You don't like that whole shit.
You wouldn't rather have 7 great songs and like 15, 5, 6 of them are mediocre?
But 7 minutes, listen, and this was my criticism about Yeezus, right?
What?
When you give me an album with 10 songs, man, you can't have no fillers. You can't have any
Yeezus
songs
is such
that.
a bad example, though.
Yeah,
Come on.
I'm sorry,
Bad
I know.
example.
But still,
My least favorite Kanye
you
album.
can't have like 2-3 tracks I'm not feeling. It's not that much. You get me? So 7 songs, all these songs gotta be fire. And of course, not hearing the project and just shooting from the hip and I'm assuming they're fire, but I do think there's a lot of pressure on when it's just 7 songs, man.
Ain't no pressure, man.
I feel like there's no pressure.
There's no
to push.
pressure.
Of course, maybe he's not feeling pressure like that, but clearly, as a fan trying to go in thinking, how is this gonna sound? I'm
All
hoping
the albums that's coming out with 7 songs. All them albums that's coming out on Good Music is gonna have 7 songs.
There's a vision. There's a vision.
Yeah. They might be selling 7 hats at the end of the year or some shit.
Man, I'm just, with this new wave Kanye on, I'm just glad that all these albums ain't got 6 songs, man. He might have some type of trend with that. I don't know.
Here he go.
Kanye, man, I don't know.
I'm excited. I'm gonna listen to this tonight. We're gonna talk about this album. But look, Nicki's project is coming up too. That's definitely not gonna be 7 songs. So it's called Queen, coming June 15th. First project since 2014, The Pink Print. Of course, she dropped Chun-Li and Barbie Things in April. She said on Twitter this is her favorite album and that a very important person called it her best. I'm just gonna guess Jay-Z for some reason. But anyway, how important is this album for
Birdman.
Nicki? It's Birdman. How important is this for her? And thoughts on the singles? I don't think we really got to talk about what she dropped.
Super important for Nicki. Nicki's at the point where you've had your run, we're looking to replace you. You're done, we're tired of you now. And it's not because you're not talented, it's that we want something new. We want a fresh look. And it just happens in rap, we want a new sound, we want someone new to gravitate to. Oversaturation is still somewhat of a thing, even though I'm not saying she oversaturated the market, but like, people don't like the same person being on top forever, right? Each generation is gonna like whatever.
You bugging.
I'm bugging about that thought.
You bugging about Nicki being replaced. She can't, like, she's not gonna just be replaced nah. She's not.
No. Okay, so let me reframe what I'm saying.
What?
That's the feeling. Will she be replaced? We don't know. But the growing momentum, when she comes out in an interview with Zane Lowe, and she says, yo, they're hating me. When she's making songs talking about they need a bad guy. Nicki, stop it. You're the queen. You're not the bad guy. You're the queen. You're the chick who everybody loved, who, to be honest, when you came in and you were shitting on Kim and all that, like, you were the chick.
No, she is the bad.
But as time went on and people started seeing certain things that they didn't like of Nicki and also getting tired of her, she kind of grew a lot of hate, and she acknowledged it. There's a huge growing coalition that don't like Nicki Minaj, and of course would love for her to be replaced. I would argue that there's people even supporting Cardi just because they're tired of.
Yeah, but does that have anything to do with her actual music or her personality?
Both.
You think it's the music or more personality?
Man, they're tired of Nicki Minaj with some of these same bars, some of these same raps. I'm telling you.
Now look, when it comes to that, I get somewhat of what you're saying, but the reason why she is the bad guy is because she's looked at as the top person, right? And the top person is always looked as bad when they don't reach out. Mm-hmm. So what people don't talk about, we talked about this shit before, she went through a lot of personal shit. Mm-hmm. And we just said this about people in life going through shit, right? Now, at that same time, Remy comes, hits her with that Sheetha shit, right? She has to shoot, now she's shooting from the hip with that, what was it, No Frauds? Was that the record?
No Frauds, yeah.
She has shooting from the hip. She fumbled that one, right? But she's still in a space where people want to hear everything from her. Like, I don't think we're in a place where nobody's going to get replaced. Like, Nick, you can't replace a person like a Nicki because she's already a legend. Like, in this shit, she's already a legend. She's not going nowhere. Now, yeah, I get the whole Cardi shit. They're always going to put the top women against each other all the time.
But replace, like, the way I'm thinking about replace is, you're not the #1 female rapper anymore. You're not the #1 selling female rapper anymore.
But that's just right now, and you know how quickly things change, right?
I know. But you're not seen as the queen anymore. That's what I'm talking about. Replace. Nicki will always be Nicki, right? But being #1, that's been her spot. Where remember when the BET Awards, like the female rap, the best female rapper award was Nicki Minaj's award 4 years. Right? that's no more, right? If the next time it comes up, there's a conversation to be had. When it then turns, and I'm not saying it's there now, maybe it's, obviously, like everyone's like mine is like, obviously Cardi's number one. Yes, you have been replaced at the top spot. You have been replaced.
She's been, but at the same time of her, this whole replacement shit, that's because she was chilling. It's not like she was dropping the same amount of shit or being as visible the same amount of time as Cardi was. She wasn't.
She tried.
Listen, she wasn't. If you really comparing that shit, she wasn't. She wasn't as mobile and moving around and jumping on the same records that Cardi was. She wasn't.
But, okay, you're right about that, right? Because she did take a break.
Yeah, she took a break.
She put out records that did not resonate.
Right, but you
want to even talk about these records? Because let's talk about these records.
We can talk about the records, but she did put out records that didn't resonate at the level that they used to, because they did hit. A few of them shits did hit. Now,
like what?
Listen, a few of them records hit. Now, they didn't hit the way her old records used to, right?
The Queen's supposed to hit.
The way they used to, right? They didn't hit the way they used to. But even with that, everybody drops shit, takes some breaks, comes back. She took a break. Now, when she took a break, remember we were saying this shit. I said, Nicki's gonna drop some shit. And then as soon as she dropped the Chung Lee record and Barbie Tings, everybody jumped right back on. Now, I know Ak is with his numbers, and I'm looking at her impact. People are expecting something. Now, the one thing I do give you is that she does have to deliver on this shit. She definitely has to deliver, but whether she delivers to the standard of the numbers or not, she's still gonna be Nicki. Like, she's still gonna be Nicki. It's like, all right, not comparing them directly, but Jay and Wayne, right? When Wayne was coming up, Jay never sold 1 million records his first week. Never. Wayne came out, and we all knew Jay to be the best. Like, we still had him renowned as the best guy, right? But when Wayne came out, he just had a different era. She's running this era. You got to remember, Nicki been putting out, when her first album came out? 2009, 2010?
I'm going to tell you why back comparison, right? Cardi's comparison to Nicki, and I'll openly state it, because I have criticized, or not criticized, but point out the fact that Cardi has ghostwriters, okay? We will never, or I will never, sit here and have a conversation about who might be better. No, Nicki will wrap circles around Cardi. But in terms of having their moment, having their wave, yeah, it seems like it's Cardi's time, right? Which is different than Wayne and Jay. There were some people trying to have a discussion if Wayne was better than Jay. You get me? In terms of rapping, when he starts saying best rapper alive. Cardi can't say that, and I wouldn't hear it. If she said it, I'd be like, what?
Listen, everybody has the person, like, all right, you know how we always make this comparison, the Michael Jordan of, or like now it's the Jay-Z of. By the time Wayne was coming up, that's just because Wayne said this shit, I'm the best rapper, and everybody still held Jay as the best rapper, but Wayne had his time and his moment, right? But when you look at careers in comparison, where Jay's at, in comparison to where Wayne is later on in their careers, who stood the test of time?
Is that a question?
Yeah. Who stood the test of time?
I think they both stood the test of time.
To an extent. Now we got all this shit that's preventing Wayne from being able to put his music out. Because if we're talking about putting music out and putting shit in the marketplace, it comes with a lot of more things than just having a dope song. So I don't think that he lasted the way Wayne lasted the way Jay did, because I don't think that is going to be a big outcry for a new Wayne album the way it was for a Jay one. Now, we're talking about Cardi and Nicki.
I don't think there was no big outcry for the new Jay album recently.
Yeah, it was. I mean, when he dropped 444, his shit shook everything. It stopped everything.
And you trying to tell me that Wayne dropped Carter 5, it wouldn't stop everything?
Now, it depends on what he's talking about. It really depends on what he's talking about. But people have put this shit in the detox box, to where we feel like we're never going to get it. Now, I want to stay back on subject with Cardi and Nicki. I don't give a fuck if Cardi is going to keep killing. She's not going to stop no time soon. But that's not going to take nothing away from who Nicki is.
Yeah, look, so I think there's a difference between being the queen, like the legend that you're saying that Nicki is, of course, in terms of female rappers, and also just being hot now. Cardi could be hot for the next 3 years. It doesn't take away from Nicki's legend. But one of you made a good point in terms of, like, when you reach that legend status, there's a little bit of sort of embracing, right? Like Jay or Kanye, the way he works with a lot of younger people. I feel like we haven't seen that with Nicki as much, and that has hurt her, I think. she's worked with like Uzi and them, like, but in terms of like maybe her relationship with Cardi was different from the onset. People would be looking at her differently right now.
Women don't work with women the way they used to.
Nah, honestly, I don't even think she got to embrace Cardi like that. Nah, like why? Well, like
not be like best friends,
again,
you know what I mean? But if we're
understand.
talking about people making her out to be the bad guy, I think some of it is just persona, not the
It
music.
is persona.
Yeah, but I don't think necessarily that would have just been addressed by her being cool with Cardi. I think everything that Nicki has done for years, when her music and success backed it up, when it's not backing it up, and there's another woman who you haven't supported, now it comes to light. Because we saw along the years, so many people said, "Hey, Nicki's doing these things in the background," and it looked like before Cardi got to where she's at now, she alluded to, "Hey, Nicki was trying to like block certain."
But that's
shit.
what I mean, and not Cardi specifically. But yeah, if she had just moved differently
Right.
in that way, I think
Oh.
the conversation would be different. Maybe she wouldn't feel so attacked.
Yeah, there's an intangible like likability. Likability is really an intangible that people sleep on, right? Like, Russ makes some cool music, but people don't like you, dog. You know what I mean? The people who like you, they live like out there. You get me? Which will kind of prevent you from being probably even bigger than you probably should, right? Like, Nicki somehow just isn't likable, and it grew over the years the more we knew about her. Right now with Cardi, we love Cardi. Like, let's go back to the motorsport thing. And I think the story for the most part is now out there. Nicki came off looking like the bad guy with motorsport when in reality it was Cardi like causing a stir over that whole issue. You get me? But people love Cardi so much, it's like, hey, we're gonna defend her because she's probably a victim.
The thing with Nicki now is like she don't give a fuck. She at a place where I look at it kind of like where she's at in her career. She's 10 years in, if not more. Like I really heard of Nicki in 07, talking about putting out albums. Her first album dropped in 2010. This is what, her fourth?
You think she don't give a fuck? Like, what do you mean?
I'm talking about she don't give a fuck about having this persona put on her, about her being the bad guy.
I think she does.
Why? I don't think she does. I don't think she does. And the reason why,
She's cried in the Zane
Sounds
Lowe
like it affects
interview.
her.
She's cried in the Zane Lowe interview saying that, listen, it's
she wait a second. Okay, I think she's a bit sensitive in a sense, but at this point, who cares? Because you got to kick ass now. You've been quiet. The last album was what, 2014? Now she's in a point where we have to keep respecting her. Like we have, if this album has to be something different sonically, something different direction and subject matter or what she's gonna talk about. People gonna want to hear her allude to what happened with her and Meek.
But so from the singles we've heard, do you feel like that's the direction this project's moving in?
Not from the singles, but I think that she's gonna she knows that she's gonna have to address what's been going on in her life. Her being quiet on social media for so long.
What'd you think about them two records, man? To me, Barbie Tings was trash.
I don't like Barbie Tings as much as I like Chun-Li, but I like Chun-Li. Chun-Li takes me to exactly where she needs to be as far as her music. Not having no feature on the shit, talking shit, having fun. That's the Nicki I know. As long as she stays there, what's the problem? Bad guy or not.
Yeah, but gaining that public support, which I disagree with you with like that persona. I think she really is starting to realize that this is hip hop in terms of, and she said it in the interview. She says, yeah, you gave hip hop 10 years and now they can't wait to get you the fuck out of here for the new hot thing. Like that only means that legendary stuff. Yeah, we cool with you being a legend, but just go over there and let's fuck with a new person. She wants to still be, because she knows there's nobody I won't say nobody, but she could rap with anybody. She could rap with anybody. So it's not like her skills are falling off. She's realizing it's just people moving on from her. And,
Yeah,
and that is difficult.
But again, it happens, and artists stay relevant by fucking with younger artists. Like
That's all it is.
I think you just have to like, whatever. We'll see. But
She got to learn from Drake, man.
But I mean, everybody.
he's a good example of.
Yeah, but I mean, likability. What people got to realize is that a lot of great artists are assholes, straight up.
But not assholes publicly.
Listen, man, a lot of them are assholes, publicly and in private. A lot of them. None of that shit matters when you got dope music, for real. You could be an asshole. Kanye made a whole song about it. Let's have a toast to the douchebags. Like, come on, like he made a whole song about it.
Kanye's Kanye though.
So Nick, so all right, Kanye's Kanye, cool. I get that. So Nicki is not Nicki? Like Nicki, so you telling me like Nicki can really just be erased? Like
No, I didn't say erased. Nicki has people just wanting her to lose.
yeah, that's why I believe she's gonna fucking win because she understands that.
Not these records.
No, you said record.
I need a record from Nicki, that undeniable shit. That the person who they ain't really fucking with you, they think you a bitch.
You don't
or whatever.
think Chun-Li is a good record?
Chun-Li's not the record.
It's not the record, but is it a
right
good
direction?
record? Yeah.
Right direction, not the record.
Yeah.
We've been waiting, and she's dropped 6 songs. We've been waiting for the record. We haven't got it yet. So again, I think that's the point that she's at. She probably does have a good to great album, but does she have the record?
But see, I mean, I know we're gonna close, you know, because we staying on this for a long time, but that's the thing. Do you always have to have just one record versus a good body of work? Like, if she has a good body of work,
Nicki, she does.
if she has a good body of work, people gonna listen to the shit regardless. If she has a good body of work, does she just need a record? I don't think she just needs a record because she's been throwing out the records and they haven't been catching. So if she puts out a great body of work that people respect as her as a rapper, and she has some hit joints on there, you don't think it's gonna change that whole perception shit?
Well, when
By her music. Because now we're talking about just pure music.
about her music, that probably will go to help change that perception, but I still do think she needs that record, man. She needs that record that show people, because this is how I've thought of Nicki, and I know we've gone real long on this topic, but Nicki is going through a phase where we've heard so much of you that everything we hear now feels formulaic. We know what you about to rhyme about. We know like all your patterns. Like it doesn't even sound new and updated. You're not even hitting us with. Anybody could have expected Barbie tape.
Well, how about we just wait till we hear the shit instead of just putting all these expectations on her that we don't even know are coming yet?
Word.
Like, how about we just wait for it? Like, let's just wait for
Well,
it.
while we wait for it, it's going to determine if we anticipate it or not. Like our thoughts going into it. Like, am I really here like, yo, Nicki, stop it?
Yeah.
I'm like, if I hear it, it's fire. But I'm not here like, oh my God, like, just because from what I've heard, it hasn't given me the reason to.
All right, so look out for that Nicki album June 15th. A ton more projects coming, but one we didn't actually get to talk about was the Ray Shrummer album, Shrum 3. Triple disc, the Sway Lee, the Slim Jimmy side, and the group project sold 57,000 first week. They're heading on tour with Wiz Khalifa this summer. Originally, you thought this project was going to be too long. How do you feel now that you got a chance to digest?
Y'all want to hear the most like extreme flip in a pain?
Let's go.
It's too short.
Cut it the fuck out.
No, I'm not lying. But hear my explanation.
Okay.
It was too short for each album. Like Sway Lee's part, like Swaycation
was amazing.
That's a vibe.
It's amazing, yeah.
That's a vibe. You feel me? And I was listening to those songs and I was like, I would actually want like 15 songs of those. You get me? And I wish that was completely isolated. And originally when I said it was going to be too long, number one, I don't want no album over 25 tracks. This was 27. I was also thinking it's going to be 40.
Oh, okay.
And that would give each album enough space to breathe, and you could kind of see what's everything about. By the way, Slim Jimmy impressed me. The music was good, and I didn't ever think that we're not going to put out good music. But this triple disc experiment, I don't know if it worked too well because I knew, well, I won't say I knew for a fact, but it looked like it was a sales play. And they did 57K first week. I don't know if there was internal pressure or whatever in them putting it out. I'm going to assume so, just how Michael made it jumped out when I made my assumption about the album. But the music is good. I would like for it to not be a triple disc, though.
Okay.
Because
but you
I
just
want
wanted more Swaycation.
Yeah, I want a Sway Lee solo album, more than 9 tracks. His shit was phenomenal. There's a lot of dope tracks on it. And I think they were probably aiming to maybe range in the Migos numbers, if I'm just guessing, when they were thinking of putting this together. It didn't really work out, clearly with the sales, but the album was still good. So when I say it's too short, I'm not really going back on that. I'm just saying one particular album on that, I really wanted a whole.
I started looking at like times and numbers, and I had looked up like Speaker Box and The Love Below, which was a double, you know, Andre solo and Big Boy solo. And that's longer than this.
one?
I looked up Life After Death, and Life After Death is only 8 minutes longer than this. So it's like, me personally, I would have liked a Slim Jimmy album. I mean, no, Sway Lee album first, and then another Ray Shremmerd album, and then maybe a Slim Jimmy, like him, a little EP.
We're talking
on a
about
back
like
end.
actual releases?
Yeah, actual releases. Like if they would have spread it out.
How do you guys think Swaycation would have done if that was released by itself?
And see, so that's what my whole point boils down to. I think they were a little bit nervous about solo albums, so they packaged it as a group.
Yeah.
They had a bunch of songs, and you can imagine how a group works, and we've heard that's how even the Migos work, right? Offset might be in a studio session, he gets something, if it's really good, he sends it to the other two. Not all the time, all three are cooking at the same time. Right. Same with Sway Lee and Slim Jimmy, right? So when you get a bunch of songs where Sway is killing it on, be like, hey, let's just keep this as solo. And then the thought of a solo project might come into play, but actually putting it out when you haven't really introduced the group or introduced each member as a solo act, it's a little bit nerve-wracking, I could imagine. And even if you see how it's titled on like iTunes, it's like, this is Sway Lee featuring Slim Jimmy and Ray Shremmerd, which is like a mind fuck. You're like, what? You're featuring someone else and
No,
the group?
but honestly, they might have ran the shit. They might have ran it. I don't know what their deals are, but they might have ran it like that. They might have split it by different things contractually. Because you can do things like all right, how Ross was MMG and he was signed to Def Jam, but his shit was on, MMG was on Atlantic. So he was able to lend his presence to Atlantic shit and have everybody else put under them. I don't know what the business is, but if it's titled as that, this might be Sway Lee's solo mixed with that, depending on how they did the budgets.
I'm wondering how, okay, that could be true, but I'm wondering how Interscope sees that. 9 tracks? I'm not giving you credit for an album for that, right? If
Why not? Pusha putting out a 7-track album. That shit is, it's all the same options. It's all relative to what it's called and how it's presented.
Well, if you're giving us 27 tracks, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if I'm gonna break up an album as 9 tracks and say this is worth 3 albums, but maybe that's the case. I don't know. Like, this is a weird way how they kind of put it out, and I'm just wondering if they're gonna go more solo or they're just gonna say, fuck it, man, let's just keep it as a group.
I don't think kids is like getting tired of their shit either. Like the ones that really listen to him.
Yo, Sway Lee's a mega superstar.
And
like,
coming off of what is that? Unforgettable. But we found out that was supposed to be his
That
single.
Guatemala joint, that's an unforgettable, man.
Yeah. Now he's talented as shit. So you know, it's just depending on the direction they go with it. But it just dropped. I'm not gonna throw it in the can already. Like it just dropped. If you look at history.
Oh no, this shit's gonna be grinding for the next year.
Yeah, it's gonna be grinding for a minute. I mean, we always jump out the window with numbers, right? But I remember Juvenile, and this is a whole different time, but Juvenile, I think 400 Degrees sold 5,000 the first week, went on to sell 5 million. Same shit with Akon. Akon first album only sold like 3,000 something low, and then Locked Up took him into all the other singles. So they got a lot of shit to try. Like they got a lot of shit to try, and then the tour that they about to go on with Wiz, that's gonna be big.
Look at Post Malone. Shit, I mean, I think these guys are like that though. So the first week sales, I don't really look into too much with them. I look to see the singles that they have, will those last? And they got a joint with, this joint with Thug on it. Thug is just crooning on that bitch, man. That shit's great.
Yeah, I fuck with the joint with Future too.
Yeah, there's a track with The Weeknd, great. The Guatemala joint, that's my favorite track.
I wasn't crazy about the Weeknd joint. I wasn't crazy about that.
Oh, really?
One. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I heard it at the wrong time of day or something. I wasn't crazy about it.
But, I mean, they got some tracks on it. So even though I think it was a sales move, I don't think it panned out in terms of sales first week. The records aren't whack, right? They'll last. And that's the thing that Michael Maida got so confused about, I think, when I was talking about it. Never said y'all were going to put out a whack album. I felt like y'all were just making a play for sales that might dilute it. And was I right about that? I don't know if dilute was the appropriate word, but I wanted more Sway Lee and you guys could have separated Sway Lee's project and really fed like a fan's appetite like mine.
When Chris Brown dropped that album with like them 40 songs in it, how much did it do?
Like 45
How
songs.
much did it go
I
the
forgot
first
the
week?
number.
That's what I forgot. This might also be a play for the RIAA in terms of certification, right? So this shit's gonna go gold in like 3 weeks, right? Because if RIAA sees that a triple disc, each sale is gonna be 3 albums.
Yeah, this what I was saying before, because the Diplomats, when they put out Diplomatic Immunity, they shit counted as 2 sales because it was a double album. So I don't know if does that still exist now though, with them changing everything.
Yeah, so the way how Billboard does it with Nielsen, the 57K is literally 57K. However, you got to times that by 3 in how RIAA is looking at it. So essentially, they almost sold like 200,000 first week, according to RIAA. So like 2 more weeks and they'll be gold. But you won't see that numbers on the Billboard chart. That's
There's so many plays with this shit. It's crazy.
Yeah, but he knows all the numbers. It's so
well, you
crazy,
gotta finesse it because, and I'm not mad at them either, yo, because the streaming game now is just a whole finesse.
Right.
Do what you could.
All right, guys, that's our show for today. But of course, we're back tomorrow, and it's Thursday, so we have Struggle Exchange. If you have any questions for us, hit us on Twitter, Everyday Strugg with 2 G's, and we'll see you tomorrow on Complex News.
Week is going by pretty quick, man.
It is.
But like actually in slow motion, but really.
Oh, anybody want to argue any of these points? Get on my Instagram live.